Have you ever wondered what happens when global superpowers disagree on international events? In today's interconnected world, this is not just a theoretical question but a reality we often face. One recent example is the international reaction to Putin's landslide victory in Russia. While some nations were quick to decry the result, others took a more nuanced stance. Our focus today is on the differing perspectives of two nations, India and the USA. These perspectives are brought to light in an MSN News article, which provides a detailed account of the event. As we delve into the specifics, we'll find that the reactions of these two countries are not just about an election result, but reflect deeper geopolitical dynamics and historical ties. So let's dive into the details and see what's causing this global divide. First, let's understand the USA's perspective. From the American viewpoint, the recent election victory of Putin in Russia isn't just about the numbers on the ballot. It's a complex tale woven with threads of history, strained relationships, and deep-seated concerns about the legitimacy of the democratic process. Let's take a step back and delve into the early 2000s. The initial optimism that marked the relationship between the US and Russia under Putin's leadership gradually eroded, a casualty of diverging interests and perceived slights. Key events, such as the expansion of NATO, the development of missile defense systems, and US actions in Iraq and Ukraine, drove a wedge between the two nations. When Putin publicly criticized the US in 2007, it was more than just a diplomatic jab. It marked a turning point, a shift towards a more confrontational stance that signaled the breakdown of relations. This breakdown wasn't just about differing perceptions, it was a stark reflection of the power dynamics between these two global powerhouses. Now, fast forward to the present day. The USA's concerns about Putin's election victory aren't unfounded. They stem from this history of strained relationships and are further amplified by the alleged irregularities that plagued the election process. From the American perspective, the absence of a significant opposition presence and allegations of vote rigging cast a long shadow over the credibility of the vote. These concerns aren't just about Russia. They echo similar worries about the democratic process in other parts of the world like Bangladesh, where a national election marred by allegations of vote rigging and crackdowns on protesters raised eyebrows in the West. The USA's stance on Putin's election victory is more than just a diplomatic response. It's an expression of a deep-seated skepticism, a reflection of a relationship strained by history, diverging interests, and concerns about the democratic process. It's clear that the USA views this election with a fair bit of skepticism. But what about India? Now, let's shift our focus to India. In the grand chessboard of international politics, India has always prioritized its strategic interests, and its stance on Russia's recent election is no different. Historically, India and Russia have enjoyed a strong relationship, rooted in mutual respect and shared interests. This bond dates back to the Cold War era when India, as a non-aligned country, found in Russia a trusted ally against Western hegemony. The legacy of this relationship continues to this day, with Russia being a major arms supplier to India and a key player in India's energy sector. This strategic importance of Russia in India's foreign policy calculus can't be overstated. So, when Putin claimed victory in the recent elections, India's reaction was measured and restrained. Unlike the USA, which expressed strong reservations about the legitimacy of the election, India chose to tread a more cautious path. Its response was not an outright endorsement of the election results but rather a calculated silence. This approach reflects India's pragmatic foreign policy, which prioritizes national interests over ideological alignment. India's stance, however, has not been without criticism. Some argue that by not voicing concerns over the election process, India is turning a blind eye to democratic transgressions. But for India, the decision is likely more about realpolitik than condoning questionable electoral practices. India's relationship with Russia also plays into its delicate balancing act with China. As India navigates its strategic competition with China, having Russia as a counterbalance is vital. Thus, maintaining good relations with Russia is of paramount importance to India. Unlike the USA, India has chosen to react differently to Russia's election results. But what does this mean for the international community? As we see, the reactions to Russia's election results vary widely. From one side of the globe to the other, the perspectives are as diverse as the nations themselves. In the United States, there's a sense of dismay and concern, echoing the sentiments of many Western nations. Meanwhile, India, with its unique geopolitical stance, perceives the situation differently. This global divide, ignited by the recent Russian election, carries significant implications for international relations. It's not just about who is in power in Russia, it's about the ripple effects this power shift could have on diplomatic and economic ties across the globe. The contrasting reactions to the election results underscore the complex, multifaceted nature of international politics. It's a chessboard where moves are calculated, alliances are tested, and the balance of power is constantly shifting. As this divide deepens, it could potentially reshape alliances, influence global negotiations, and dictate the tone of international diplomacy in the years to come. It's a reminder of just how interconnected our world truly is, and how events in one nation can reverberate across borders. As global citizens, it's crucial for us to understand these differing perspectives and their potential impacts. Until next time, stay informed and stay curious. Thank you for watching Divided Opinions India, USA, and the Russian election. We truly appreciate your time and interest in understanding the world's complex geopolitical landscape. Your willingness to engage with these intricate issues is what makes this channel a thriving community. Remember, each perspective we explore helps us understand the world a little better. If you found this video insightful and want to continue delving deeper into the intricacies of international relations, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We regularly bring you content that helps unravel the complexities of our interconnected world. Until next time, stay informed, stay curious, and remember, every voice matters in shaping the future of our global community.